I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our fire exits are right there, left and right. If there is a situation, you'll be notified. Please leave in a calm and orderly manner. Comments from the public at this time? Anybody wishing to address the board may do so. I will close that section of the meeting. You'll have a chance at the end of the meeting. Minutes of the previous regular meeting of April 18th. You all have copies. Is there any additions or deletions?
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes as written.
I'll second that.
Motion by trustee Penfield, seconded by trustee Jefferson. Any discussion? There no discussion. All those in favor, vote by usual sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Minutes of special meeting of April 25th. You all have copies? Is there any additions or deletions?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of the special meeting of April 25th.
Second.
Motion by trustee Jefferson, seconded by trustee Moore. Is there any discussion? And being no discussion, all those in favor, vote by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Bills. Arson, do we have any additions or deletions?
No, we do not. I'll make a motion to pay the bills tonight.
Second.
Motion by trustee Jefferson, seconded by trustee Penfield. Any discussion? There being no discussion, all those in favor, vote by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Correspondence.
We received a letter dated April 25th from the retirement system. They're offering a kind of a work session in Plattsburgh on May 10th in the Clinton County office building from 9:30 a.m. to 12 noon. The purpose of this meeting is to hear from you regarding retirement-related topics. We haven't quite decided yet who, if anybody, is going, but we'd like approval for at least 2 from the office if we decide to attend, to go. If the car's available, we'll use it. If not, we'll drive ourselves.
I'll make a motion to allow 2 people from the village to go to that training.
Second.
Motion by trustee Jefferson, seconded by trustee Moore. Any discussion? There no discussion, all those in favor, vote by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried.
Next letter we received was a certified letter. It was from the Montgomery Post 912 American Legion. It's addressed to me. It says, this letter is to advise the Rouses Point, New York Village Board that the American Legion Montgomery Post 912 is in the process of renewing our alcoholic beverage control retail license under the same name at 29 Pratt Street, Rouses Point, New York. And it's signed Rodney Wright, Commander.
Information only.
Next letter I gave everybody a copy of is from Ed Bayshard. It's addressed to the mayor and board of trustees. It's regarding Bayshard subdivision, Beverly Drive, Rouses Point. Dear Mayor and Board of Trustees, I'm writing to let you know that the road and utilities for the Bayshard subdivision is completed in accordance to the village's specifications. Therefore, the road is ready for the village of Rouses Point to take over. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Sincerely, Edward Bayshard.
I don't believe we should take any action on this at this time. There's no lots been sold. We take it over, we gotta plow it.
We didn't budget for paving.
I think that should be put on file for next year, budget.
Send a letter to that effect.
Yeah.
Okay. Next letter we received was from Stuart Frum. He's an attorney who represents the Oakwood Apartments. And the letter was actually addressed to Mike Tatro, Code Enforcement Officer. Dear Mike, thank you for taking the time to review the Oakwood apartment property file with me yesterday. This is to confirm that my client, CP Property LLC, the owner of this property, has begun the legal process of converting the 18 apartments into townhouses, each of which will be sold individually. The remainder of the property, lawns, driveways, sidewalks, and garages will be conveyed to a homeowners association owned by the owners of the townhouses. We do not anticipate any physical changes to the property at all. It is our understanding that the Village of Rouses Point does not now have any subdivision regulations in effect, parentheses, although they are working on such regs for adoption in the future. With reference to the issue of certificates of occupancy, the file of the town offices did not contain any references, and they asked if we had them, and we did, and we sent them to them. If there are any other concerns or advice that you think of in the next couple of weeks, please do not hesitate to call. Next letter was also from Stuart Frum. It was addressed to Mr. Tatro. It was acquisition and subdivision of 6-acre parcel currently owned by P&T Land Investment Partnership, or Lynn Charlier. Dear Mike, I represent Jeff Peck of Wollaston, Vermont. Mr. Peck is the principal of CP Property LLC, the owner of the Oakwood Apartments property. He has arranged with the current owner to purchase the adjacent 6 acres under the above referenced tax map number, and he intends to subdivide the property into 16 single-family residential lots. He will be forming a corporation to own and develop this project. I believe that Surveyor Neil Carey has prepared a parameter map and is working on etching out and mapping the first 4 lots. My client anticipates that the sale of each lot will include a modular home placed upon the property. The purpose of this letter is to establish the date of project commencement prior to the enactment of subdivision regulations and to solicit your advice on any permits which may be needed with reference to sewer and water facilities and power. I will be in touch with you next week to discuss this matter further, and I haven't heard anything from Mike, so I'm not really sure where that stands. And the next letter we received today, it's not on the agenda. It was addressed to Mayor Rivers. It's from James King, Emergency Services Director. It's, Dear Mr. Rivers, at this time we have discovered that the deputy coordinator that operates out of your fire department lacks workers' compensation coverage from the county of Clinton, where he is providing services as a deputy fire coordinator. I am hoping this will be a short-term problem. However, in the interim, I am requesting that your fire department, of which he is an active member of, cover Mr. George Rivers under your VFBL coverage. I have checked with all the proper authorities, and this will not require any additional premium on your part, nor does it require an addendum to your policy. I'm requesting that your fire district adopt a resolution and send a copy to my office stating that you will cover Mr. Rivers under your VFBL, it's workers' compensation. As I stated earlier, hopefully this will soon be rectified by the county, and this coverage will be offered by the county of Clinton. Your quick response in writing will be greatly appreciated, and it's signed sincerely, James King, Emergency Services Director.
That's just in case you got hurt, George, at a fire?
That's it. And it's going to be short-lived. It's just an internal thing.
I don't understand why you wouldn't be covered under the fire policy, though, as a fireman. This is a different capacity?
Yeah, the department has not been toned out for at a fire call. It's just me.
Oh. Well, you're not covered all the time under the fire department? Like a
Yes, if the fire department's toned out, it's not a problem.
If he goes as a fireman, he is.
Oh,
Not a problem. The problem arises, let's say there's a fire in St. Paul. Now, and I go to St. Paul, right? Then my supposedly home coverage, but what they found out, but you have to pass a resolution in order to take it. The county is going to have to pick up something here, and that's what they're investigating now. Because there's 5 of us. There's five different ones. There's Greg Timmons, there's Chris Trombley, there's Rick Akey, and myself. Sure. Senior moment on a 5th one. Anyway.
I'm surprised you even knew about that.
Well, I kept my head over an incident that happened a couple of weeks ago, and I just let it go with that.
No, but if you got hurt at a fire, though, and you weren't covered, you'd be covered under your...
No. I have no coverage, period.
No, you'd be covered under your health insurance, is what I'm saying. Right?
Medicare? I wouldn't hold my breath on that.
Does the county not cover any of the 5 of them?
None of them. They're all the deputies this letter has been sent to. So that it's an interim thing, the county's working on getting a policy to cover us.
I'd like to ask Mike a question too on the other correspondence.
Wait a minute, we gotta settle this one.
Oh,
We're
okay.
gonna make
Oh,
a
sorry.
resolution or not? Or motion,
No, we weren't gonna do it tonight.
hey, I get called out tonight, what happens?
You're not gonna be covered.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, maybe we just
Make a
found out.
motion now for a resolution that you're looking for.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd like to take care of this tonight, but I don't think we can.
Sure you can.
Well, I mean, I'd like to say we'll put you on a policy tonight, is what I meant.
You're not putting me on a policy, but you gotta understand, Gary, this is a resolution that will cover me if I go out. In the interim. The county will, and I would believe within a few weeks it'll be taken care of. And I know that Jimmy would not have written that letter unless he was absolutely sure of what he's saying. And I know that they spent the last 2 weeks researching. I got a phone call Friday
Yeah.
saying that the deputies will no longer be toned out.
Because you don't have the coverage.
We don't have coverage.
Any of the five,
Any of the five.
so they're asking every single.
Like, they're asking Peru, they're asking Champlain, they're asking Denimora. It's all the same.
So Phil, when you check with our carrier, is the assumption that it's like adding an additional member to that policy or no?
I
No
don't-
cost, no
I
cost,
don't
no nothing.
understand
It's
it,
just,
I have to ask.
if you read the letters, it's,
No, I don't have a problem covering it, but I like, you misunderstood me. I'd like to be able to just say, oh yeah, so if something happens, then you go out, you're covered, but you can't do that till you check with the insurance.
apparently Jimmy has checked with the insurance or he would have never wrote that letter.
Yeah, but you can't.
He would not do
No,
that
no.
and asking us unless he knew it
No,
could be
but
done.
in turn, we have to say to our insurance thing, listen.
All right, but we have to pass a resolution before we can do that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I made the motion to pass the resolution.
Okay, I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion made and seconded. Now is there any discussion?
So is the motion to have Phil check on the coverage or to actually go ahead and because he needs to find out, right? If we pass the resolution, that means that you'll be checking with our carrier on the additional
The
coverage?
if I understand, the resolution would be adopting this as Mr. King requests, subsequent to my confirming with the carrier that it's proper to do.
It's only gonna be for a couple months, so it should be only pennies.
Maybe less than that,
Might not
if the
be
county
any.
gets the policy.
You know.
But I will, we'll do the resolution and I'll check at the same time. So the resolution will basically be just adopting what they're asking here. It'll be very short and to the point. Is that all right with you, Mr.?
It's fine, because I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
I can't see holding us up for 2 weeks.
Oh, no, you wanna get you covered as soon as we
What I want to do
can.
is get it taken care of.
Don't get hurt, do it down, well, you'll get toned out, so.
That's right.
Just seeing it's a resolution, can we have a roll call vote?
Okay. Roll call vote, trustee Penfield,
Aye.
trustee Jefferson.
Aye.
Trustee Moore.
Aye.
And the mayor votes aye. And I can't vote, so I shouldn't vote.
And I believe that's all for now. Yeah.
I want to ask a question about, when you take that under a complex and then you break them into single owners, is that anything different for the village? It's gonna be, raise the assessment up, or?
Talking about the Oakwood, going from apartments to townhouses,
Yeah.
I'm not sure how the assessment works on it, but it's not a change of use or anything like that, they're still living quarters.
People would buy them and own them just like in Plattsburgh, where they have the
Right.
townhouses.
And they would be assessed accordingly.
Yeah.
So you would have 18 different people.
Yeah, they
whatever.
would own their section of the buildings. And then there's a tenants association or a owners association that maintains the grounds of the buildings, I guess.
Now, the next question was what really I was building up to. Why would you do that? To sell that, to try to sell it, I guess, and get the cash? and
Well,
raise
if
it?
they sell it to people, then the owner's not assuming the responsibility of maintaining the buildings. he's transferring all that to the owners in the association that's gonna take care of all that stuff, I would assume.
If it works like anything where my daughter lives, she lives in one of these complexes, you know, it's an end, they'll call it an end apartment, she owns that. And they set up regulations, like what color you can put on your place, what siding you can put on, but, you know, they have they call it a owners association.
And then they have like a maintenance fee and so much,
Yep.
yeah.
She doesn't mow the grass, it's all mowed.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, report of the mayor and the board of trustees. First thing on my agenda is to declare wastewater treatment plant item surplus. And that is the 2 plunger pumps, 7.5, whatever that means. That's a Simplex. 1 Anderson duplex, I guess that's a pump. 1 belt press, dewatering press, 40-inch. 1 roller screening system, and 1 Aggie stationary mixer. Those items, I need a motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to put those out for bids.
Second motion.
Motion by trustee Jefferson, seconded by trustee Moore. Any discussion?
Yeah, I wondered if, I mean, not being in the business myself, none of this means very much to me. Phil, do you think it would be good if, when we advertise this, does any additional information, would it help, do you think, we can get from Tommy and
I don't have an
Ernie?
idea what it is either.
I don't either, and, you know, I know he's done a very good job of giving us all of the specs and, you know, the model numbers and so on, but there might be someone out there who's interested in putting a bid in on these, but not really aware necessarily of, fully aware of what they are.
Well,
what they
I
have the
think
capacity
the
to do.
second item is the one that I have no idea. The rest, I think, are fairly clear, but the first one, or the second item, I don't know what type 9-inch duplex is.
Wasn't that the stuff that they used, they put in when,
Stuff they took out.
Yeah,
or when they put in, they didn't use it, and they took it out?
No. These pumps were being used. They took them out when we redid the sewer plant.
Yeah, but the stationary mixer and all that, the screening
The
system?
belt press was used, the screening system, the screener wasn't, or the mixer wasn't, hasn't been used.
I figure if somebody's looking for this stuff, they'll know what it is.
Yeah, that's what I
I
was
think.
saying,
I mean, if
well, I don't know, I mean, it doesn't, it may not have exactly the same use. In other words, it could be used elsewhere other than in a wastewater treatment
I
plant.
don't think so.
Some of it, the pumps, no, not even any part of it, I don't
Plunger
know.
pumps.
Any,
No,
no,
I think it's kind of a specialty item,
I don't
and
know.
as long as the ad says sewage treatment plant equipment, that the only people that are gonna be looking at it are people who know what it is, like a belt
Okay.
press,
Well,
stuff like that.
And you guys might know somebody, are you working on any projects in the area that somebody might be able to use this?
I don't have a sewer project going right now, I don't know if Aaron does.
it's fine.
Advertise it in magazines.
There's been some people that have expressed interest.
right, it would just be nice to get the maximum benefit that we could for these, rather than not. So,
Like everything else we sell in the village. Give it away.
Anyway, any other discussion? Not all in favor, vote by your sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. And I request an executive session to discuss office personnel.
second.
Motion made by the mayor, seconded by trustee Penfield, roll call vote. Trustee Penfield,
Aye.
trustee Jefferson,
Aye.
trustee Moore,
Aye.
the mayor votes aye, and that's it for me. Trustee Penfield.
Okay. I believe that Aaron left everyone copies of the topics of discussion for the sewage system improvements. Aaron, would you like to give us an update, anything in addition to this, or we have a couple of other items I know to take care of that are attached, but,
Starting in contract 4, last week, they repaired the submerged outfall. I believe Doug and Eric did the underwater survey of that today, so I'll let Doug talk about that a little more. Items that remain for Acts 2 to complete on their contract is some minor cleanup work in the Shazy Hardware yard, plus some drainage improvements. Acts 2 is supposed to be on site as of today or tomorrow to start all the cleanup work along, in front of Power Techs and down along the causeway. Obviously, it's somewhat weather dependent. If the weather continues to be wet, they won't make a lot of progress on the regrading work. There is other items they can do. And I've included a copy of change order number 1 for contract 4. This is for utility line conflicts that occurred on the installation of the outfall. There will be a follow-up change order at a later date that will be a deduct, so I do not anticipate the actual contract amount to be $655,000. I believe it'll be closer to $640,000. Contract 5, general construction. The work is essentially complete there. We would consider it substantially complete. All that remains is just some site grading and some minor painting items, things of that nature, nothing significant. We've okayed it with Tom and Ernie that Sheehan won't be on site till May 23rd to do their cleanup. That'll allow things to dry up a little bit more, and maybe they can make a little better progress on getting the site restoration done. Contract 6 is the electrical is also essentially complete. I sent out substantial completion documents to S&L Electric. There's one minor item that a graphics panel for the control room, which is on order and should be here relatively shortly. Contract 7, which is the ventilation construction, that is complete. I will send out the substantial completion documents to LH LaPlante. And contract 8, the trunk sewer cleaning inspection is also complete. I'll send out the substantial completion documents to Severn Trent this week. I believe we can say the EFC loan application is complete. They're back and forth asking for little items and asking us to verify numbers, but I would say we're pretty well in good shape on that, just waiting for EFC to finish their end. And on the outfall, I'd say now that the outfall has been repaired, it would be time to do the as-built survey of the submerged portion of the outfall. And I've sent off a little note to Eric, and I believe Eric and Doug will be getting to get that survey done in coordination with WCT surveyors. And the last item I have is the second page of this application. This is an updated project budget. These are costs to date. As you can see, the original contract amount was, or the original estimated project amount was $4.4 million. It appears that the project's going to be closer to $3.8 million, so that should be a significant savings to the village. And unless there's any additional questions at this point, I'll turn it back over to Kevin.
Thanks, Eric.
Good news.
Yeah.
That can go deep at water.
Yeah, I do. So, in keeping with what Aaron said, I guess on page 3 of this little packet is his change order number 1 to contract 4 for Acts 2 construction. It would be for an additional $21,457.27, and that would be the modification amount. And then he referred to the fact that there will again be a modification later on with some of the other issues that have yet to be taken care of. So I guess that I would make a motion that we approve the mayor to sign this change order number 1 for contract number 4, as it's listed on page 3 of Aaron's packet.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Motion by trustee Penfield, seconded by trustee Jefferson. Is there any other discussion? There being no other discussion, I believe a roll call vote. Trustee Penfield.
Aye.
Trustee Jefferson.
Aye.
Trustee Moore.
Aye.
And the mayor votes aye.
Doug, did you want to do any updating at this point, or?
Yeah, on the outfall today, we dove on it, Eric went out and confirmed that the repair was done as proposed, the repair is satisfactory. Eric has swam out to the end of the line and taped off a buoy out there, so we have a small Clorox bottle floating indicating where the end of the outfall is. And so we'll get in touch with the surveyors and get them out here so we can shoot that in and get that final paperwork for the easement. And just one thing to note, underwater, the contractor still needs to come back and clean up the ropes and all of their items they use to put the line in place. They need to clean that up before we release their retainage. And that's it.
What's your temperature like, you know?
40 degrees.
Not swimming well.
Somebody has to be safe. I don't have any idea. We have it.
And the last item I have tonight is a resolution regarding the improvements to the sewage collection and treatment system, an additional $80,000 bonds, primarily dealing with the bond issuance fees. This would be a resolution authorizing, subject to permissive referendum, the issuance of an additional $80,000 bonds of the Village of Rouses Point, Clinton County, New York, to pay part of the cost of the improvements to the sewage collection and treatment system in and for said village. So this resolution will also authorize the treasurer to act as needed for the issuance of these bonds. And as I said, it'll add an additional $80,000 to the $3.7 million that we already have. So I'll put that in the form of a motion.
I'll second that.
Motion by trustee Penfield, seconded by trustee Jefferson. Is there any discussion?
Anything else to add or send?
Other than the fact that the issuing fees are going to be approximately $48,000 now instead of $80,000.
So,
Say that again, I didn't hear that.
It says the issuing fees are going to be approximately $48,000 instead of the original $80,000 that we were first told a couple weeks ago.
but as we said at the start, we should go ahead and do this the
Yes,
way it
we
is
have
now?
to, we have to.
Okay.
We originally had authorization to go up $4.4 million,
Right.
but even though we're not spending the $4.4 million, we still have to increase our borrowing authorization to cover the issuing fees.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote. Trustee Penfield.
Aye.
Trustee Jefferson.
Aye.
Trustee Moore.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
And that's all I have for tonight.
We go to do that, we authorize the clerk to publish legal notice.
We did, wasn't that Brian's motion earlier? To publish a legal notice for the surplus items?
I didn't make the motion last night, did I?
Because that's when I was asking Phil if we should add additional language to it, or not.
No, I think it was just. They're really making distractions.
I'll do it, but I thought that's what,
You know, there was the first, no, it was carried.
yeah,
But it wasn't. Okay, sorry.
okay,
That's it. Kelly.
that's it.
Thank you, trustee Penfield. Trustee Jefferson.
Well, I don't have anything on my agenda tonight,
Amen.
except I have received quite a few phone calls regarding the letter that was sent out to the people regarding the quality of the water. Now, of course, people are, I don't want to say they're overreacting, that's not the right choice of words, but when people see these high levels and they see the word cancer, it turns a few heads. So, Doug, I don't want to put you on the spot tonight, and if you're uncomfortable doing it tonight, Phil kind of explained it to me the other day quickly in transition. So I think it would be better if you could just take a few minutes and just explain to us and reassure us and tell us you've talked to the priest and everything's going to be fine.
Well, okay, first, I just want to talk about definitions, and then I'll talk about what happened, okay? What happened is the EPA and the Department of Health regulate our water, and they watch out for what is called disinfection byproducts. And that is these trihalomethanes and haloacetic acids that show up in the water when we disinfect the water with chlorine. Okay, anytime you have a surface water like Lake Champlain and you put chlorine in it to disinfect it, you get disinfection byproducts. And so the EPA and the DOH have learned and done statistical analysis to determine what disinfection byproducts can be carcinogenic. And so they set limits on those disinfection byproducts. And the limits that are set to ensure that if a person drinks the water for their entire lifetime, that they will have less than a 1 in 1 million chance of getting cancer. So they set these levels, and then if you exceed the level where you cause someone to have greater than a 1 in 1 million chance of getting cancer if they drink your water their whole life, then you have to notify people we've had a violation. So the government set these standards. And in the case of trihalomethanes, the standard used to be like 120 parts per billion. They then lowered the standard to 100 parts per billion. And in November of last year, the standard got lowered by the government to 80 parts per billion. Okay, so whereas our water used to pass the 120 and the 100 level, when they lowered it to 80, we had a blip. We scored 81 instead of 80. Okay, and what happened is they take your average over 12 months, and our average over 12 months was 81. They average it on a quarterly basis. Every 3 months you take a test. And out of the last 4 quarters, our levels were coming in at like 65, 68, but we had one bad month in August. And so in August, which is the worst month because that's when the lake is low, that's when algae is high, that's when disinfection byproduct creation can be at its greatest, we scored like a 120. And so that's what shot our average up to 81. And so anyways, right now, because of this water project we recently completed, the village is in great shape to be able to handle this issue with the equipment it already has. One of the things we've already done is we've lowered the injection of chlorine at the plant. And that should lower the disinfection byproduct creation. And we also, as part of the water project, we put a post-chlorination station at the new water tank so we can lower the injection at the plant and then give the water some extra chlorine as it's leaving the tank. Because since we have that large tank up there, the water has more time to disinfect, more time to cook, more time for disinfection byproduct creation to occur. So there's a number of things we'll be able to do in-house to get ready for this next August when we have our biggest challenge. So that's what happened, and that's what the definition is. 1 in a million chance of getting cancer if you drink this water your whole life. Basically, it's 1 in a million chance if the water was like August your whole life, which it isn't. It's like August 1 month out of the year.
Is there any way to sweep that out of the water? I mean,
We're already doing that with these DE filters that you have, which do an excellent job because your people have taken such good care of them over the years. So we're already sweeping what we can and eliminating a lot of disinfection byproduct creation. But what happens is some of this stuff is at such a microscopic level. Again, we're talking about parts per billion, okay? Super small stuff. And the filters are working as well as they can. The only way to avoid disinfection byproduct creation is to get away from surface water and to go to wells, and that's not recommended.
okay, is there anything people can do in the village? Like, you know, they have these other filters, these
Brita and that kind of
Brita, and
stuff.
I mean, I know Brita probably doesn't take that out of there, but there's these other filters that go right in the water lines and stuff that, like they have them, you have a filter, like say you have a water goes into your ice cubes and stuff like that.
Right.
Some of the guys tell me they have filters on that. Would having that type of filter take that stuff out, or it's too small, it's too microscopic?
I believe that there are some that are available. I don't know if they're available on a commercial residential basis, but carbon filtration captures this stuff.
That's
So-
hard.
We're going to filter some carbon.
All right, so I have to check the label, but it's possible that with a carbon filter, post-filtration, you might be able to do that.
Just so I have it straight, I mean, like, I mean, I have a swimming pool, and you put chemicals in it, and the residue at the bottom of the pool is the byproduct from the chlorine, is that the same thing?
No, I don't know, I'd have to look at your pool to see what's on the bottom of it, but,
Well, you have to- well, like, it's clean, but it's, I think it's stuff breaking down.
you don't really see this, okay?
Oh, you don't
This-
see
Yeah,
it?
it's
Oh,
in
okay.
solution,
Oh.
we're talking about microscopic levels of chemistry here, so,
Okay.
so it's in solution, it's not really visible.
And then I asked Aaron before, but there's no other way that we could, I mean, obviously chlorine is the best way to treat the water, you know, best bang for the money. I mean, like you said, ultraviolet and stuff like that, but that's not.
Well, there are other techniques, but what we recommend is that we use the equipment we have in-house to make the changes, which I think will be, I think it'll be successful. But Aaron mentioned UV. There's also a different disinfection chemical you could go to, which is called potassium permanganate, but that would require a capital investment to retrofit the equipment out there because you're dealing with a powder, and you don't get these level of disinfection byproducts from potassium permanganate, but the operators have to be trained, they have to know how to work with it, because if you put too much of it in there, your water turns pink.
There goes your wife.
See
the bottom?
Goes your pool.
You gotta understand, Brian, one thing. We put that tank up, we did all this work because the health department, we didn't have enough contact time. Now we got too much. That's what it comes down to.
Well, we've got too much in a sense because we've got the serpentine
Yes.
piping in line also. So another option would be we might be able to just isolate the serpentine piping so that we don't get that double shot of cooking time. That's on the list. That's another thing we can do in-house before we have to look at other exotic options.
So it's not, people like, well, a lot of people ask me about it.
No, like there was one bad month.
This month, or when we come to August this year, which is,
We'll be watching.
you know,
Because the temperature of the water is way up too.
We're back in line for.
Yes, exactly.
So,
Yeah, the water's fine now.
Yeah.
The water's fine 11 out of 12 months out of the year. And even in that 12th month that we see the problem, you've got a 1 in 1 million chance of getting cancer if you drank that water in August for your whole life, which is not realistic. But these are the levels they've set to protect everyone.
yeah, and there was a request from a PhD that worked at Eris that, you know, wanted the water thing, so obviously he's looking at it too, you know, so. And I think that explains it pretty well.
We met with Wyatt today and they seem to,
Wyatt didn't have any problem with it.
Oh, no, he's retired, but I,
No, Wyatt didn't have any problems with the lights.
oh, yeah.
He had no problems whatsoever today.
Okay, so that explains it, thank you. Yeah,
Is that it?
that's all I got, yeah.
That was enough.
Well, I don't know. That was good though, because he explained it and I understood it.
Thank you, Trustee Jefferson. Trustee Moore.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the clerk to publish a legal notice to go out for bid for DE for the water plant.
I'll second that.
Motion by Trustee Moore, seconded by Trustee Jefferson. Any discussion? There being no discussion, all those in favor, vote by the usual sign of aye. Roll call vote.
Roll call vote, and spend all that money, George.
how often do we do that? Is it once a year? Once a year, okay.
43 times,
I'm sorry?
43 times.
Wow.
Trustee Penfield.
Aye.
Trustee Jefferson.
Aye.
Trustee Moore.
Aye.
The mayor votes aye.
Okay, I got one other thing, it's not the agenda. Kim reads the meters, what, twice a month he goes around. Why can't he use the village's new hybrid card? It don't take any fuel, runs off the battery, the price of fuel we'll be saving. You know him, when he brings it back, it'll be cleaner than when he took it.
Right now, he couldn't use it.
No, if it's here, and it's not being used.
It's a good idea. The more we use it, the better.
It's not, runs off battery, right, George, until a certain miles per hour.
Yeah, once the batteries are up, it runs like that, 30 miles an hour, it runs off battery.
So, I mean,
And then you go about 30, it goes on the gas, but in this case here, well, no, because he actually be going drive-by. So it might,
I mean, you just be using the battery.
we may have another car available for that coming up.
But until then, if it's not being used, would it be a problem if he used it for that?
I don't have a problem with it.
It's a
Or
good idea.
decision.
If it's a good idea, the more we use it, the better.
More we use it, Whatever stays home long enough to use now. It's on the road quite a bit now.
Well,
I just don't wanna see that car get full of mud and crap, that's all. And I know Kim,
Not with Kim using it
not
anymore.
with Kim, Kim is,
We might even wax it before he brings it back.
yeah.
No problem.
I don't, we don't need a motion on that, Phil? No. That
That's
it?
it, that's all you got.
Thank you, trustee Moore. Clerk?
We have one item that was included in the budget that was passed April 4th. It's for an industrial appraisal. There's a contract that has to be signed to enter into this appraisal. And I believe the cost for this is right around 12, almost $13,000. And in order for them to schedule us for the summer, they want a commitment. In fact, the guy called me again today and asked if we were approving it. So I'd like approval to enter into this industrial appraisal agreement.
Why?
No, this is for the village. We haven't had this done in 13 years, and it is one of our auditing requirements, I believe, under Gatsby. So this is going to be a full-blown appraisal of our buildings.
Equipment, everything.
Equipment, everything, you know, and we try to maintain that on a perpetual yearly basis by updating. But this is a requirement that should be done, I understand, every 10 years. So
Is it just what the village owns or the whole?
no, what the village owns,
Just what the village?
just our stuff, yeah.
That's probably a good idea with our insurance too, so we don't miss anything.
That's one of the
Exactly.
things we use it for. Is insurance.
Yeah,
Issue.
we're pretty comfortable with the majority of our stuff. Appreciation of buildings, for example, is a big item.
Appreciation or depreciation?
Appreciation of buildings and property,
I think buildings would appreciate that,
they're appreciating.
Oh, so we gotta make sure we have enough coverage.
Just like our assessments go up everywhere else, our buildings and property go up, and we want to make sure we're properly insured. So I'd like to ask the board to enter a motion to authorize the mayor to sign this industrial appraisal agreement.
I'll make the motion to do that.
Second.
Motion by trustee Jefferson, seconded by trustee Moore. Any discussion? There being no discussion, roll call vote. Trustee Penfield.
Aye.
Trustee Jefferson.
Aye.
Trustee Moore.
Aye.
The mayor votes aye.
Any idea, Phil, when this will be scheduled?
They'd like to come, I think they said July or August.
How long
That's
to do
we-
it? Week? How long would it take to do it?
I'm not really sure, I wasn't here, I don't really know how long they're here.
$12,000, I bet you it's more than a week.
I can't really tell you, I don't know.
Will we need people to be free to meet with them during those times? Department heads, that kind of thing, walk them through?
Probably individual areas for equipment purposes, so nothing is missed. He's going to take the printout that they have, and he'll be going around checking that off and confirming that the piece of equipment, and whatever the item is here. And
You might want to check vacation schedule, just in case. There might be some weeks that are better than others.
he made it sound like they're pretty tied up, and, you know, as far
So
as,
we have to take them when they're available.
that's the impression I'm getting.
Is that it, Phil?
That's it, sir.
Arson?
I don't have anything this evening.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Phil. Dougie, you done? Thank you. Aaron? Mike, we're going down the road. See, we're going down the road. We saved the best to last.
Well, if you have a spare car, the code officer could use one
You
too.
got your own up there in Champlain. They got you one that's free.
I had a couple things this month. Have a couple subdivisions to talk about. Gary Babby came to visit us, myself and Brian with his engineer Scott Allen with a subdivision for the south side of Smith Street. I'm told I'm supposed to be getting drawings for this new project. I believe there's 12 homes that they're proposing in there. There's some discussions going on with NICE, I guess, to the power. Everything has to be underground in the village, so I'm not quite sure where they're at with that, but I'm waiting for those drawings. On the other one across the road from there, the Charlier, I sent them back a letter stating that if they wanted anything from the village, they had to apply by the 31st of the fiscal year, January 31st, because the village's fiscal year is June, I believe. And we have no letter from them saying they wanted anything from the village this year, so if they do anything that the village would normally provide, they would be footing the bill by themselves. I believe Phil has a copy of that. One of the 2 new restaurants is now open, Angelo's, the former Zachary's. That opened today. Subdivision review law, we're still working on that. I have some more stuff I got from Mr. Murnane. We have to get that in, but we have to move on this with all these subdivisions coming up. And that's basically all I have.
Thank you, Mike. I met with Gas and Electric people a couple weeks ago on the subdivision up there because informing that the guy was in charge of streetlights for Gas and Electric, informing them that we want the same type of streetlights. They cannot provide them. And so he gave me different options that they allow to do. One, we provide the lights. Right? We will put them up, but not hook them up. They will hook them up and maintain them from then on, and they charge us so much per light per year. Second option is if they provide the lights, they charge us so much, which is considerably more. And so he said, we can work these things out, because I said, we don't want to put something different up there that's different than the rest of the village. And we want to keep it the same. And I also informed him that it would have to be all underground, and he said, well, any project in the state of New York that's X number of buildings or more, or X number of homes or more, has to be underground now. That's state law. Well, I said it's also our, and it will be put into our specifications. I don't want direct burial. I don't want conduit. I don't want people, having a short circuit in there and have them come in and tear their lawns up again. So he said that they didn't have any problem with that. But the street lighting is going to be an issue that we're going to have to work out with them.
Is that village land or,
What?
is that village land or is it town? Where it's-
That's in the village.
So they get village water and sewer? Just
Yeah, they
not
get
electric.
village water and sewer. The only thing they don't get is power, because I believe it's 1974, and there was a lawsuit by Gas and Electric against the village on that particular item, and that is in Gas and Electric's franchise. Now, they may opt not to supply it. If they do, then we'll be able to supply it. Whether we want to or not, somebody's going to have to supply it. And the reason why is that the guy looking at it had some concerns of how they were going to come in there, because they're going to have to get easement rights. And when we looked, he said, boy, this could be a nightmare. So there's going to be, I think, some discussion before this whole thing takes place.
How many houses did you say, Mike, 22?
Well,
I believe it's 12 in there. There's some wetlands in there, and there's issues with that. But while we're talking about that, right now, underneath the village's subdivision review, the only thing that would happen is that I would get those plans and check them for zoning issues, setbacks, lot sizes, things like that. Then I would turn them over to Brian, and the different departments would have to sign off as far as streets and water, sewer, electric, all that stuff, and that's how they would get their approval. I believe it comes to the village board at the end, and the village board would approve it all.
so there is some issues there.
Right.
Okay, young lady, you have the floor.
Thank you. I have just a few items, not much really new from last Monday. I did speak to Roger Harwood about the issue of trying to remove the tires from the lake bed that John Mott brought to the board last week. John and I had spoken just actually a couple hours before the meeting. And he told me about what was done in Plattsburgh. They did a project at the old base. Apparently it was a similar situation. An old tire breakwater had broken down, and they removed 85 to 90 tires from the lake bed. They used volunteer divers from the Y, and Casella accepted the tires as kind of their contribution to cleaning up the lake. It was all part of a Lake Champlain Basin Program initiative. Of course, we're faced with a significantly different scale of the problem, and what John estimates 10 times that many tires need to be taken out. But what I thought I would do with the board's agreement would be to get in touch with the Lake Champlain Basin Program, find out if there's any grant money available for disposal of the tires, because I think that's the big dollar cost for us that we'd like to cover if we are going to work in partnership with the divers to clean up that section of the lake. Is that something the board would like me to pursue?
I think we're gonna call Costello first,
Okay,
because I got some other issues I wanna bring up with them.
okay.
I still would like to see in this village, to have some material pickup at some time. Everybody's got paint cans and stuff in their houses that they don't know how to get rid of.
You do it, it's kind of Falls once or twice a year.
But you gotta bring it down there. What I'm trying to do is to have a certain day of the year, let's say the 20th of May, and I'm just picking the sky, that you put it out on the street, and we'll be able to pick it up and take it down one day.
Nice.
I gotta talk to the people about it.
Well, there is a house on Maple Street that's got a lot of paint out, if I know if there's paint in them.
Can't take them,
They won't take them. Yeah.
can't take it.
Now, is this feasible, Doug, to say, listen, if you had a gallon of paint and you poured it on like a sheet of plywood, and let it dry, and scraped it off? No,
That's a hell of a lot of work, my boy.
Well, I'm just saying, hey, people got,
Well, you can get rid of paint that way as long as it's dry.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, after it dries, you just scrape it up and just,
If you leave your paint cans open and let them harden, the regular junk man will take it to the landfill.
Oh, well, then that's the case then, yeah.
But you got, but then you get into the base with oil-based paints, that's a different thing.
Yeah, oil-based is different. I meant like water-based paint, because it's,
Anyway, that's off the subject. Go ahead.
I'm all in favor of picking up paint cans, though, I really am. Because they're always dragging around the house, hard to get rid of. Well, then, if you wanted to call Casella, they did,
This week, and then
Yeah.
we'll go from there.
I believe they are partners in the Basin Program. They have some sponsorship, they contribute somehow,
I don't
so.
think John's gonna be sending divers right now.
No,
They had a very nice cheers in the paper today too about styrofoam trays versus reusable plastic trays at one of the schools, I think it was.
Okay.
So you can tell that they're very community minded, I would guess, which is a good thing. So.
While I was on the phone with Roger, I also talked about the Fort Montgomery interpretive signs. He's been working with Jim Millard to put together some text and images for the sign that will go over here on our side and over in Alberg at the fishing pier over there, and he's going to have those for the board's review. He's trying to get permission to use this image that I hope everyone's had a chance to see, the aerial view of the fort, and I'll pass that around for anybody that didn't get a chance to take a look at it. If he can't get that, he may be calling on us for a letter from the mayor requesting to the person that holds that picture, requesting that we might be able to use it. So he's going to let us know on that. Our architect, Carl Stearns, was in the village on Wednesday last week. He spent the entire day at the D&H station. He's going to have a plan for us in his report for short and long-term projects. He seemed extremely knowledgeable about historic preservation. I think we were very fortunate to get him to come to the village. We had a chance to spend some time with him at lunch, and he's definitely very, very enthusiastic about saving old buildings. And he did say he thought it was a perfect time for us to start this process. The building is still very sound structurally, but it's at the point where it needs attention, and I think we all had that sense. Just an update on the survey RFP that you approved last week. We did get a request for clarification from one of the surveyors that we mailed it to. I put together the clarifications in an addendum and sent that out to all three of the surveyors, and we extended the deadline to Friday to give them a couple extra days in light of the questions. And finally, I have printed off the Environmental Protection Fund application for this year. I'm taking a look at that, and I'm going to be going through those and discussing possibilities with Paula Marshman and with Alon, and I'll have more information for the board at the next board meeting on that. Thank you.
Any questions for Melissa? Thank you, Melissa. open the meeting up to the public at this time. Anybody wishing to address the board may do so.
Do you want that?
Only other thing I want to follow through with is, like Brian was saying, everybody's having complaints about the water and stuff. I was wondering if they could put an article in the paper or North Country Living about the water, and for the older people that it's okay to drink it, and they're worried about cancer cells and everything.
Good idea, really, actually. I was gonna write up a thing, and just, the way I wrote it down as I went, was explain to guys at work, but, you know,
Ask the county health department to do it.
I like the way Doug explained it better than county health, though.
Just put all that in paper.
Maybe Suzanne Moore could come and interview for the paper. We get it in for free.
Want me to call her?
Maybe I'll give her an anonymous call and tell her we want to do a report on the lake or something.
Well, I think in addition to the TV broadcast of this meeting, the important thing to let people know is that we've been very attentive to it, and, you know,
Yeah, this is
certainly
something-
Gary's letter that went out was a good, first pass of an explanation, but now that you've had a chance to look at some of the data, I think Joe's right, it would be a very good idea to let people know.
Yeah, why don't you call her? That's maybe if you call her and just tell her that, listen.
Well, you don't get along with her?
Well, no, I can't explain the way Doug, no, I get along good with Suzanne. No, she's good to us.
I couldn't reach this.
And our friends at Hometown Cable are good to us, too.
It probably, Doug, would be very reassuring to people if we were to have an explanation.
All right, I'll call her.
Anything we do with that, I think we should clear it with the health department before we make a statement that we may not want to make.
All right.
I know Doug would your knowledge of it and everything, but I think that we need their blessing.
I'll talk to them first.
All right. I am ready for recess.
I'll make a motion to recess the meeting.
Second.
Motion by trustee